Today's program is brought to you by OTCStockShark.com. For the latest and greatest OTC and Pink Sheets information, sign up for your account at OTCStockShark.com. Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.
In financial news, bonds and stocks continue to sing different tunes about the economy after disappointing employment reports raised fresh worries about economic weakness and the risk of deflation. Investors scrambled to buy relatively safe Treasury bonds. Yields, which move in the opposite direction of price, fell to historic new lows. The major stock indexes, however, rebounded from early declines of 1% or more to finish the day nearly unchanged. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 21 points or 0.2% to close at 10,653. The Nasdaq Composite Index fell 0.2% to 2,288. The S&P 500 stock index fell 0.37% to 1,121. Trading volume was light, and it has been all week, which could help explain the intraday swings. Even after small declines in recent days, the Dow ended the week up 1.7%. The blue chip index still 10% above its July low and is slightly positive for the year so far. The bond market, however, has remained a picture of bearishness. The 10-year Treasury yield tumbled immediately after the release of the jobs data and never looked back, closing at 2.8%, the lowest since April of 2009. The 2-year yield dropped to 0.5%, the lowest on record dating back to 1973. In U.S. news, 2 Senate primaries that were supposed to be tranquil affairs have turned into roaring Rocky Mountain shootouts that could provide the best test yet of how deeply anti-establishment, anti-Washington sentiment is running this year. With the fierce duels to be steeled, independent analysts and party operatives say the contest between Republicans Ken Buck and Jane Norton and Democrats Michael Bennet and Andrew Romanoff are close, making it uncertain which 2 contenders will be left standing to compete in November for a seat that appears up for grabs. It wasn't supposed to be this way. Mr. Bennet, appointed to fill a Senate vacancy last year, and former Lieutenant Governor Norton were blessed early on by the party hierarchy. They were to breeze to their respective nominations by virtue of the fundraising help and the stature the White House could provide Mr. Bennet, and the standing and credibility lent to Miss Norton by the approval of leading Republicans and the Chamber of Commerce. But Mr. Romanoff and Mr. Buck could not be dissuaded from challenging the favored choices. Now they find themselves with a chance to win. Should they triumph, it would represent a stinging repudiation of the Obama administration, which has put serious presidential muscle behind Mr. Bennet, as well as the Washington Republicans who rallied around Miss Norton. In international news, the South Korean Coast Guard said North Korea seized a South Korean fishing boat in waters near the Eastern Sea border, straining already high tensions between the 2 Koreas. The 41-ton squidding boat was believed to have been detained after entering the North's exclusive economic zone, where foreign fishing boats are banned. 4 South Koreans and 3 Chinese crew members were on board. South Korea's national news agency, Yonhap, quoting an unnamed Coast Guard official, said that the ship was being towed to Songjin, a port on the eastern coast of North Korea, for interrogation of the crew. Inter-Korean relations have plunged to their lowest in years since a South Korean ship was sunk in March, killing 46 sailors. South Korea attributed the sinking to a North Korean torpedo attack, which the North denies.
When you've got a serious leak, it's time for Leakender 2000. It fixes any leak fast, no matter what's leaking. Just spray it with Leakender 2000, and in minutes, the leak is sealed. Look, we'll cut this garden hose with a knife, then shut off the water and spray on Leakender 2000. Minutes later, the hose is as good as new. The cut is sealed. Leakender 2000 is a unique compound that fills and seals any crack or separation as it hardens. Why put up with gushing gutters, dripping drains, wet windowsills, and rain-soaked RVs? Leakender 2000 stops all those leaks, and it's yours for only $14.95. Call now and we'll double your order. We'll send you this giant-sized can at no extra charge. Order now.
To order, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-936-0300 or send check or money order for $14.95 plus $5.95 shipping.
In entertainment news, Megan Fox made the most of her cameo in Eminem's controversial new video, Love the Way You Lie. The actress donated her appearance fee to a shelter for abused women. Yahoo Finance reports that 24-year-old Fox has given her salary to the Sojourn House, which provides battered women and their kids with a place to rebuild their self-esteem and their lives. In the powerful video, which also features Rihanna, Fox and Mohegan were shown alternately attacking each other and passionately making out. Both Eminem and Rihanna have had personal experiences with domestic domestic violence, and Rihanna has told Access Hollywood the lyrics were so deep, so beautiful, and intense. It's something that I understood, something I connected with. For his part, Eminem felt it was an issue that needed to be addressed. Trying to make this tough subject work visually is a challenge. It was great to have Rihanna, Megan, and Dominic on board for this. They really brought it and made this video super powerful. In tech news, using little more than a webcam and a laser, a young engineer has built a cheap 3D scanner that dovetails perfectly with the MakerBot and other desktop fabricators. It could be used as part of a copying system that would allow hobbyists to duplicate solid objects at home. Andy Berry, a research engineer in the Autodesk Innovations Lab at NASA, built the first model in only 3 weeks during the beginning of his senior year at Olin College of Engineering. During his winter vacation, he constructed a second prototype at Ames Research Laboratory in Mountain View, California. He has been using it to scan people's faces and then print plastic replicas. That may seem impractical, but he pointed out that the same technique could be used to replace damaged plastic goods. The scanner works by sweeping a red laser beam across any object that you can put in front of a webcam. When an object is close to the camera, the beam seems shifted to the side. That provides a key bit of information about the depth and the point that's being scanned. With a bit of number crunching, a computer can use the position of the beam to calculate the thickness of that object. Barry hopes to sell his invention through the MakerBot store for a price of around $200. It could be available as early as this fall. In travel news, a warning to U.S. citizens that they should know where the nearest bomb shelter is if they travel to the Red Sea resort Eliat has irked Israel's government, which says alerts should apply to next door Aqaba in Jordan. The Israel tourism minister was expected to raise the U.S. State Department's travel warning with U.S. Ambassador James Cunningham this week. The warning at travel.state.gov/travel says rockets have been fired recently into the Eliat and Aqaba areas. U.S. citizens in Eliat and southern Israel are advised to ascertain the location of the nearest bomb shelter. There is no equivalent warning for Jordan, where one taxi driver was killed and 3 other people injured by a rocket which exploded outside a 5-star international beach hotel in Aqaba just across the Gulf from Eliat. There was no travel advisory either for Egypt's Sinai, where Israel says the salvo of short-range rockets came from. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said they were fired without a doubt by Islamist militants of the Hamas movement, which rules the Gaza Strip to the north. Israel believes the rockets were aimed at Eliat, a favorite seaside getaway, but overshot and hit Jordanian beachfronts. Egyptian security sources said they also suspect Gaza militants, but Hamas denied the charge. The newspapers said Israeli officials voiced their displeasure, and the travel advisory to Jordan had not been similarly escalated despite the fact that the rockets landed in Aqaba and killed a Jordanian citizen. In green news, it's got an awfully ugly mug to have inspired any kind of romantic association. But our guide at the bird sanctuary in Burikek on the Euphrates River in southeastern Turkey waxed poetic about how the bald abysses resident there mate for life and return after their annual migration on Valentine's Day each year. The exactness of this date is surely apocryphal. But the bird that's been a sign of the coming of spring in Burikek is now a symbol of the growing potential ties between Turkey and its southern neighbor, Syria. The rarest bird in the Middle East, the critically endangered northern bald ibis, was thought to be extinct in the region until 2002, when a tiny population of less than 10 adult birds was discovered outside the ancient city of Palmyra in central Syria. Their long migration leaves the birds vulnerable to habitat loss, hunters' guns, electric fences, and simple exhaustion. With the Palmyra population down to just 4 birds, BirdLife groups working in Syria and Turkey initiated dialogue between the two countries' governments about cooperating to protect the species, a cause adopted by Syria's First Lady, Asma Assad, and the Turkish Prime Minister's wife.
Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.
The makeup in today's program is provided by MAC Cosmetics.